Coming up tonight, a Connecticut vocational school is in dire straits. 2 soccer players from Cheshire High are looking to the future. And the release of the 8 American missionaries who had been detained in Haiti for nearly 3 weeks. These stories and more coming up next on QNN.
Bringing you news from Hamden, Cheshire, and the Quinnipiac community. Live from the Ed McMahon School of Communications, you're watching QNN, the Quinnipiac News Network.
A Hamden high school is struggling to make ends meet, and students are being forced to deal with deplorable conditions. Good evening, I'm Alex Hoff.
And I'm Taylor Thompson. In the competitive job search, high school students need all the tools and equipment they can get to be ahead of the curve. But what happens when the school is unable to provide students with the things they need? As Quadruba Coffey tells us, the Eli Whitney Technical High School is facing these problems.
On 71 Jones Road, the Eli Whitney Technical High School has been training students for life after school since 1956.
Our job is to get them ready for the real world.
At first glance, the high school appears to be running up to par with the others, but a closer look tells a different story. Here at the Eli Whitney Technical High School, students and faculty are not letting the overdue repairs stand in the way of their school spirit and overall morale. With 11 different trades ranging from culinary arts to hairdressing, students are keeping busy. But inadequate equipment and facilities makes it harder for them to practice what the teachers preach.
Our supplies are very short. It's hard for us to even do clients because we don't have certain materials.
Right.
We have to stretch whatever we have when we do have it. The hot water, I don't think that's a big problem because you can't really start a service without a clean scout.
Right. Lack of hot water isn't the only problem. From leaking ceilings, cracked exterior and interiors, there's a lot of work that still needs to be done.
We wanted to educate them regarding some of the serious issues that we face in terms of our facilities and hopefully garner their support.
Administrators are staying strong and not allowing this issue to pass them by. They will do whatever it takes to see that their students get what they deserve. For QNN, I'm Quadruba Coffey.
Moments before last week's explosion at the clean energy plant in Middletown, an evacuation was reported by a worker monitoring the natural gas levels. The message warned plant workers that the gas meter readings had spiked and to evacuate the building. The explosion killed 5 workers, and the Middleton fire chief said that he is unsure if an evacuation order was ever issued.
Prosecutors have dropped their case against 3 Sacred Heart lacrosse players who were charged with first-degree sexual assault in November. 18-year-old Nicholas Travers, 18-year-old Zachary Triner, and 19-year-old Timothy Saunders were accused of conspiring to sexually assault a woman in a Connecticut dorm room. Saunders' attorney said the investigation showed that Travers was not in the room at the time of the incident and the other 2 men didn't commit a crime.
He was once hailed as a hero alongside former Mayor Rudy Giuliani, but now he's trading in his badge for a bright orange jumpsuit. Former Commissioner Bernard Carrick of the NYPD was sentenced to 4 years behind bars today. Back in November, Carrick pled guilty to tax fraud and admitted to lying to White House officials. He has already been ordered to pay almost $200,000 in unpaid taxes. Coming up next on QNN, a tense day in the skies across the country as a pilot crashes into a plane into a building in Texas. A bomb threat diverts a flight set for Salt Lake City.
And 8 American missionaries jailed in Haiti on kidnapping charges returned to the U.S. We'll be right back with that story and more here on QNN.
The
8 American missionaries arrested in Haiti and accused of kidnapping have been released and are back in the U.S., but 2 missionaries remain in custody in Haiti. Samantha Hayes explains from Washington.
8 American missionaries jailed for almost 3 weeks in Haiti on child kidnapping charges returned to the United States Wednesday after being freed by a judge.
It's been a complicated process, but certainly we're tired but very happy right now.
Relieved family members celebrated their release, but the wait is not over. 2 more members of the group are still in custody.
Obviously, I'm very happy about my wife coming home and excited that most of them are coming home, but again, there are 2 that are still there that we are still praying for to come home.
Haitian authorities are holding Laura Silsby and her assistant Carissa Coulter because they want to determine why the two women traveled to the country on an earlier trip before the earthquake on January 12th. All 10 of the missionaries were charged with kidnapping and criminal association for trying to take 33 children out of Haiti after the quake without documentation. The group said it was trying to help the children get to a safe place. An attorney representing one of the freed members says the fate of the two women could be determined in a few days, or according to Haitian law, 3 more months.
This is what the law said, that, it can continue, but I think that in this particular situation, the judge will certainly give a final decision, before this period of 2 months.
The 8 members of the group released were not required to post bail, and according to one of the attorneys, that's a good sign, indicating the charges could possibly be dropped. In Washington, I'm Samantha Hayes.
A stunning story out of Austin, Texas. A federal official says a man set his house on fire, then intentionally crashed a small plane into a building this morning. Some of the people working inside the building described the scene.
I saw something fall out of the sky and then a big fireball kind of shoot out. We came outside and it was just a big shake. Didn't know what it was. Ran outside. All the windows were blown. There's fire coming out and just smoke everywhere.
The pilot has been identified as Joseph Andrew Stack. A message on a website registered to Stack appears to be a suicide note. In the long message, the writer rails against the government and particularly the Internal Revenue Service. The airplane crashed into a building that houses a federal IRS center with 199 employees. But so far, only one person is missing and no injuries reported.
A United Airlines flight made an unscheduled landing today at Salt Lake City. Barbara Gann, marketing director of the Salt Lake City Department of Airports, explains a threat was discovered on the aircraft.
This morning there was a flight diverted from Denver to Salt Lake City because of a threatening note that was found on board. So right now the plane is held at the north end of the airfield. Passengers are being deplaned and there'll be an investigation that takes place from this point.
No one was injured. Passengers were taken inside the airport terminal while the plane was searched.
The Dow took a dip today after news of the plane crash in Austin, yet after the crash was coined an isolated incident and not related to terrorism, the stock market rallied. This is day 3 of the stock market rise. Despite this morning's rocky start, the market closed on the up. The Dow only went up 72 points, closing over 10,000 points at $10,381. The Nasdaq saw an increase of 14 points and closed at $2,240. 3 stocks of local interest saw gains today. United Technologies gained 70 cents. Hartford Financial gained 11 cents, and GE saw a gain of 8 cents today, bringing it to $16.23. United Illuminating dropped by 28 cents, closing at $26.83.
Turning to weather, I have good news, everyone. As you can see, the precipitation has moved away. There is no new snow to be worried about in the immediate future. Currently, it is 42 degrees under cloudy skies, with winds gusting up to 20 miles per hour out of the northwest. It feels like it's in the 30s. Other statistics have the humidity at 51% and the barometric pressure coming in at 29.48 inches and holding steady. Tonight it will be 28 degrees under mostly clearly skies. It will be breezy, however, so bundle up if you're going out and watch for black ice forming in melted areas. Tomorrow it will be mostly sunny and windy, with temperatures getting up to 41 degrees. But the wind chill will probably make it feel like it's in the 30s, so make sure you dress in layers. Looking ahead, the weekend will be partly cloudy skies and temperatures staying in normal range for this time of year, topping out of the low 40s. So go out and enjoy Connecticut. More stories coming up after the break, so come on back with us.
Vocational high schools across Connecticut are struggling for funding. But despite these difficult setbacks, one school refuses to be left behind. QNN's Jack Lamson tells us what they're doing to get noticed.
Imagine a place where you can compete in your very own Top Chef cooking competitions before you even turn 18. That's the case at the Eli Whitney Regional Technical High School in Hamden.
We do Iron Chef competitions here and so forth. Come on, guys, hurry up. So, yeah, we try to make it as real as possible. We have 120 and 165 in 2 years together wanted culinary. Our program in the last 6 years has doubled.
This unique culinary program is the most popular at a technical high school that finds itself being left behind. Lack of state funding for renovation means the school has numerous problems.
Over the last few years, key players have forgotten about us.
We don't have the funding for peelers, just basic wear and tear.
Everything from leaky ceilings to just holes in the ceiling. Old and broken equipment just taking up usable space.
This was a Taj Mahal. I mean, it really was. It was a phenomenal school. It was just absolutely wonderful.
Can you imagine how much farther we can push these kids if we had access to all of the resources and the equipment and the space that we actually need? We are hoping to have our building up to date maybe in 2 or 3 years.
Just under a month ago, right here in the restaurant is where students and faculty held their benefit breakfast to raise awareness about the needs of their high school. But what results will this breakfast yield? Well, today, students, faculty, and chefs are still waiting to find out. From the Eli Whitney Technical High School, Jack Lamson, QNN.
Fairfield University said it can't account for more than $120,000 from its own money and chapel donations for a Haitian school. An investigative report detailed problems with the handling of the money by Reverend Paul Carrier, the school's former chaplain. Carrier has not been charged with any crime. The money is part of nearly $780,000 raised from 1997 to 2008 for Project Pierre Toussaint.
Coming up next in sports, the U.S. strikes gold in Vancouver. In the NBA, a couple of former All-Stars are changing teams for the stretch run. The trade deadline was at 3 p.m. today. And we'll check in with 2 Cheshire High School soccer players who have signed letters of intent with Division I schools.
Noticed QU students can name the judges of American Idol, but when it comes to Quinnipiac basketball, they draw a blank. Men's basketball is undefeated at home, but they aren't getting the attention they deserve. It's obvious when you go to a men's basketball game and you see many of the blue seats instead of students wearing yellow. When asked, students didn't know the men's basketball team was doing so well.
Now I know.
I was going to say football team, but does that count?
Quinnipiac has 3 games left. If they win all 3, they will get a home court advantage throughout the NEC tournament. Their first test is tonight at St. Francis of PA. That's all for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and be sure to come back next Thursday for another edition of QNN.
For Alex, Bill, and all of us here at QNN, have a good night and a great weekend.
Weather, the temperatures have been summer-like in recent days, but that is about to change. While the WFSB weather map is clear of any precipitation, a cold front is on the way, so enjoy the clear skies while they last. Currently it is 75 degrees with sunny skies. The barometric pressure is falling, a good sign of potential rainfall. For tonight, thunderstorms will come in later this evening. Our low will be 53 degrees. Looking towards tomorrow, early morning showers will give way to some afternoon sun. High temperature of 62 degrees. Looking ahead, the weather will remain unsettled with sunshine Saturday and Monday. However, Sunday could see some showers. Temperatures will stay in the high 50s to low 60s. Coming up